That this contract is a big step forward for Portland educators, but we also know it's just one step towards the goal of great public schools for all.
Right now at 11, the deal is officially done. So why does it seem the hard work is just getting started? Plus, Pac-12 paused the new decision that means the Beavers and Cougars won't have complete control over the conference. And it's the new feature that exchanges contact information if two phones nearly touch. We verify if privacy concerns are overblown. Good evening, everyone. And our top story tonight, the final stamp of approval on a deal months in the making. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. Tonight, the Portland Public School Board signed off on an agreement that teachers had already overwhelmingly approved. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom with this final chapter of a strike that took its toll on so many. Alma?
Well, David, it may be over now, but many of the issues highlighted by teachers and many of the moments from the bargaining table to the picket lines will likely have implications for years, if not decades, to come.
All in favor indicate by saying yes.
Tuesday night, Portland Public School Board members voted to ratify the district's contract with the union. A unanimous vote marking the final step after a weeks-long strike and a months-long struggle.
The resolution passes 7-0.
We know that this contract is a big step forward for Portland educators, but we also know it's just one step towards the goal of great public schools for all.
Earlier in the day, members of the teachers union, the PAT, overwhelmingly approved the same deal with 95% support.
One thing that we knew during this whole process was that anything that we did here in the biggest city and the biggest district of the state of Oregon was going to impact the rest of the state.
Which already appears to be happening.
I'm very glad that our students went back to school yesterday in Portland.
With Governor Tina Kotek weighing in Tuesday afternoon on the bigger picture.
That negotiation really reflects some of the statewide concerns and systemic challenges that our districts are facing. This school year, 1 out of every 3 school districts are going to be in labor negotiations.
The governor committing to take a serious look at the funding formula for schools, to partner with the legislature as they work to establish minimum teacher salaries, and to make budget information the state already collects more accessible and easier to understand, something even students are calling for.
Some of the frustration we're seeing would not exist if people understood how decisions were made in the district. Transparency now, and transparency in the future.
And at Tuesday night's board meeting, some also raised a need for healing and hoped for a more productive way forward.
The strike was difficult on all. Educators, administrators, parents, children, families.
We need to really work on changing our culture to be one of support, one that we are working as a team, because the only people that lose when we argue are our students.
I hope every single one of them who asked me to give teachers everything they were asking for, I hope they focus that same level of energy on Salem.
Worth noting, the board also talked about how students should make up days and if there should be an alternative to students losing half of their winter break. The school board ratified the contract while also directing the district to look into possibly changing some of those days. We will keep you updated on what happens there. David?
Yeah, Alma, appreciate all your reporting on all the strands of the story over the last month. Wow. Thanks so much for that. Stay with KGW for the latest on the aftermath of the Portland teacher strike. You can check out the fine print of the deal. Get updates anytime on KGW.com and streaming on KGW+. All right, let's take you outside this Tuesday where it is a very chilly 36 degrees in the Rose City, and all that sunshine, blue sky, the gorgeous sunsets will soon be on their way out. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino here with a look at how times are changing in your first forecast, Matt.
They certainly will be as we go into tomorrow night and then Thursday. It is 35 degrees outside right now. The winds are still out of the east, but they're light, and that's going to help things get a little bit colder tonight, a little bit more frost, but still, we begin the day tomorrow with sunshine. Now, I'm showing you the water vapor imagery because where you see the white and then the green, that's where the atmosphere has some serious juice to it, meaning a lot of water vapor to work with here and a lot of energy as the jet stream is strengthening as well. That's all going to begin to roll into the northwest, but it'll also come in with cooler air. So we actually have a winter weather watch in the Cascades for the first time in a long time. Then we're going to get into some heavy rain as we go deeper into the weekend and next week. That'll come with a warm up. That's a little bit problematic for the new snow that we will be getting. But the rain amounts, impressive, over an inch. This is just by Saturday morning. If we let this roll into next week, some of the modeling, as you can see here, double-digit rainfall on the southern Oregon coast as we get that big surge of tropical and subtropical moisture headed towards the west coast. So we'll see how exactly it plays out. But this we do know with great certainty. Winter storm watch for the Oregon Cascades beginning Thursday night afternoon, extending till Saturday afternoon. That's where we're going to get the heaviest snowfall. And we're talking about feet. This is going to go a long way towards getting the ski areas open, or at least partially open. We'll talk about the rain that follows in a bit. David, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Let's get caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Officials in Yamhill County have confirmed that a 16-year-old from Polk County was the victim in yesterday's fatal shooting in the northern part of the county. It appears the teen suffered multiple gunshot wounds in a rural area along Russell Creek Road. That is off Highway 47 north of Yamhill. It does not appear anyone has been arrested. Authorities have not released the name of the victim. In Northeast Portland, a health clinic operated by Cascadia Health is set to reopen Wednesday after a security guard was stabbed. Police say 35-year-old Joshua Colmar walked into the Garlington Health Center on MLK Boulevard and stabbed a security officer. They were taken to the hospital with injuries not considered to be life-threatening. Police arrested Colmar. He pleaded not guilty today to attempted murder charges. And in Kelso, a woman was without a home tonight after fire destroyed her RV. This was at the 4U mobile home park next to I-5 around 11:30 last night. The RV was fully engulfed by the time firefighters arrived. Crews were able to keep it from spreading to neighboring RVs, but the woman's 3 dogs did not make it out. No word yet on the cause. 2023 is on pace to be one of the deadliest years when it comes to traffic deaths in the Rose City. Our Kyle Aboshi spoke to a victim's family member and to police to get a better sense of why.
2023 is shaping up to be one of the deadliest years ever on Portland roadways. So far, 66 people have died in roadway-related crashes. That's just 2 shy of last year's 68 deaths, the highest number recorded in decades. And police fear that number will likely increase during the busy holiday travel season.
We always see an uptick around the holidays when it comes to intoxicated and impaired driving.
Drug and alcohol impairment is a top contributor. Data shows between 2017 and 2021, 69% of deadly crashes in Portland involved impairment. Speed also played a role. 42% of deadly crashes involved speed. Sergeant Ty Engstrom explains another contributor that doesn't show up in the numbers, distracted drivers.
It is something very difficult for us, unless somebody admits to it or somebody saw it. It's hard for us to pinpoint if the person was on their phone or distracted in some way when the crash took place.
A fatal crash can leave family and friends devastated.
These are more than just numbers.
On October 21st, Ron Coleman lost his son, Brandon. The 34-year-old was killed in a hit-and-run crash off Southwest Nadeau Parkway on the Morrison Street Bridge on-ramp.
Just a remarkable kid from day one, just brought so many people laughs and was very courteous and caring.
Coleman hopes someone comes forward. No arrests have been made.
Let's get justice for my son, Brandon.
And he hopes other drivers will be responsible by slowing down and avoiding drinking and driving. He doesn't want others to share his pain.
Reminder for everybody on the roads. Kyle Aboshi reporting. In May, Portland Police reinstated its traffic division and now has 14 people patrolling the streets 7 days a week. They also recently teamed up with other agencies to increase DUII patrols. A few moments ago, you heard the governor's comments around the future of education in Oregon. And at today's news conference, she also talked about the Central City Task Force. Its plan to find strategies to clean up the Rose City and to bring people back downtown. Now, that task force will unveil its plan, its suggestions next week. A key part of this will be focused on getting homeless people off the streets and into housing.
We're on track, if not exceeding our goals around building new shelter capacity. We're doing a really good job about eviction prevention. I think we had systems in place. The rehousing effort has been the hardest one. Some of that relates to our housing crisis. We literally don't have housing in some communities to when people have transitioned and gotten stable to go into housing. It's really hard.
All right, of course, we'll be covering those recommendations, seeing how they might translate into action next week. The governor, by the way, plans to make housing and homelessness her top priority for the upcoming legislative session. She is urging lawmakers to pass a $600 million package. Includes funds for new housing to keep shelters open and running and for rent assistance. You're watching KGW News, and straight ahead at 11, right guy for the job, why the Beavers say they didn't need to go far for their new head coach. Plus, no jellyfish in the streets, at least not this time, but see why even calm king tides can give us a glimpse at the future of coastal communities.